Welcome back. Now let's talk about another matter entirely. Organized labor has set January the 8th as the date for the commencement of an indefinite nationwide strike. This is due to the inability of the federal government to urgently transmit the bill on the new national minimum wage to the National Assembly. A meeting, please take note, a meeting between the federal government and organized labor aimed at averting the proposed protest rally by the Nigerian Labour Congress next week has been adjourned till Monday, January the 7th. So everything now hangs on that Monday meeting. And Labour has told us that if nothing concrete comes out of that meeting on Monday, Tuesday they're calling out all workers in Nigeria to join a nationwide shutdown. Now, to look at this with us this morning, and maybe we're going to try and see how this can be averted, we have Mr. Chris Onyeka, Secretary General, United Labour Congress. Good morning.
Good morning, ma. Thank you for having me.
And a Happy New Year to you.
Oh, the same to you. By the way, 1st of January was my birthday. I didn't hear anything from any of you.
Happy birthday.
Well, you're here today.
Happy New Year all together. All joint.
All joint. Thank you.
Now, Chris, a meeting was held a few days ago, which was adjourned. What happened at that meeting?
Okay. It's important that I also use this opportunity to correct some impressions that are out there.
Okay.
We've not said that on the 8th we will go on nationwide strike. What we have said that on the 8th we go on a nationwide sensitization campaign.
Okay.
And after that, we will now go on nationwide strike without any further warning. And that was what we said. Now, coming back to the meeting of yesterday that was proposed, we had an organized labor meeting. The presidents of the three labor centers were there. And we had an agreement. And a communique was issued, which we released to the press. I also personally wrote a letter to the president, to the SGF and the Minister of Labor, sending the communique and reaffirming those agreements. And one of the items on the agreement by the organized labor was that we were no longer going to be party to any other meeting. Okay, that we will be called to review the report of the tripartite committee, and we gave the federal government until the 31st day of December to transmit the draft bill. By the way, one of the contents of the report that we sent to the federal government was also a draft bill. We made the work so easy for them. All they needed to have done was just to transmit and not to call us for any further meeting to review the report, because the president had said that he was going to set up a high-powered technical committee, and we rejected that high-powered technical committee in its entirety. And so they called for a meeting yesterday, but United Labour Congress of Nigeria, in its wisdom, believing that it was a delay tactics, it was diversionary, it was meant to distract us from the objective of protecting Nigerian workers and protecting Nigerian masses, and of course, actually, if many of us don't know it, protecting the nation's economy. We decided that we were not going to be part of that meeting. But some others felt that they were going to go. Well, unfortunately, the feelers we also got from that meeting is something that will have to be discussed some other day.
Yeah, but some governors have come out plainly and said that they're not going to be able to afford to pay that kind of money.
How can you? Governors were represented, 6 of them were represented in the tripartite committee. They had every opportunity to make those inputs, to make those arguments, to be involved in the conversation and debate that went on. The committee on its own, that was made up of the governors, met and decided at the end of the day, after how many months of deliberation. We all remember that committee went around the regions. Many governors said they were going to pay more than 30,000 naira. It's on record. And we have made that available to the public. Some said they were going to pay 35. Even the governor of Gombe State said that they were going to pay 65,000 naira. And funny enough, most of the governors that said they will pay more than even the 30,000 that was proposed, okay, are governors from the so-called poor states. States like Ebonyi State, Cross River State, they want to pay. Why would the rich states say they won't pay? Moreover, if you cannot pay a living wage. 30,000 is not even a living wage. 1,000 naira a day. That's what you are saying you can't pay. If you can't pay, it means that you no longer have capacity to remain as a governor. For Christ's sake, if you cannot pay, then you resign your position so that others that can pay can come and take over your position and pay Nigerian workers.
Is Labour not asking for too much?
30,000 naira was never our figure. 30,000 naira was foisted on us by organized private sector. Our figure was 65,000.
Compromise figure.
Compromise figure. We were forced. We said, okay, if that is what will break the ice, okay, let's go for 30,000. And it was agreed. I remember that a whole lot of stories came out of that.
You know, the last time that you were here when we discussed this matter, about 3 of you from organized labor were here, and we said, just paying 30,000 naira, the market woman gets to hear that 30,000 naira is now minimum wage. Tomatoes is going to go up. Gari is going to go up. So what would you have achieved? Wouldn't it have made more sense if you're now impressed on government? Because what takes away the income mainly is transportation, accommodation, feeding. Wouldn't it make more sense if you impressed on government to do certain things to alleviate those, to make those things easier than to just put cash in your hands? Because the cash is not worth much. 18,000 naira was over $100. 30,000 naira that you're struggling for now is less than $100. So where is the sense?
That is the truth. What you are saying is the truth. But the fact is that historically, especially in Nigeria, if you remove Udoji Award, minimum wage increase in Nigeria has not led to inflation, fortunately. And one other thing that we have to say is that the Nigerian labor movement has always been in the forefront of engaging governance. I'm not saying government now. Engaging governance to ensure that all these areas, okay, transportation, access to medical, to affordable healthcare for Nigerians, housing, transportation, we're involved in all of this. But that does not contradict the quest for a new national minimum wage.
You're involved in all of this, but labor, organized labor, hasn't gone on strike to push for any of these things. It hasn't gone on strike to push for roads to become there. It hasn't gone on strike to push for power to be improved. It hasn't gone on strike to push for infrastructure. But labor, when it comes to minimum wage, when it comes to salary, labor will go on strike.
My brother, you know that is not the truth. The fact is that labor went on strike in 2012 because of increment, because of the spike, okay, in pump prices.
And after
that is for transport, okay. Now it is on record that our brothers in the oil and gas sector have always been going on strike because of the roads, the bad roads. So we are doing all this,
Chris,
but the fact is that Nigerians have
Chris, just hold your thoughts. Take a moment. I'll go on break. I'll be back. Please don't go away.